Welcome to part 13 of the 2018 NFL Draft in Review. Today we will be looking at the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs draft, which is really, so far, the biggest nothing burger I've seen of any class of this so far. This really evolved into absolutely nothing, despite the fact that I thought this was a reasonably well-picked class, that a lot of these guys had some potential to become long-term starters for the Chiefs' defense. But that really was not the case, and as we see immediately right here, is that the only player that I've seen fit to bring up any highlights for is one of the later round picks on a kick return touchdown. So that should set the theme pretty well of how today is going to be. So, first off, with the 46th pick, the Chiefs selected defensive end Breeland Speaks. And Speaks never really established himself, which really surprised me because at the time it didn't really look like the Chiefs had really a good idea of what they wanted to do with that position. But apparently I was wrong on that aspect. He did start 4 games. Pro Football Reference lists him here as a defensive tackle, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. Might be, might not, who knows. But really, he just never really materialized, and then he got injured in 2019. While on IR, he was suspended for violating substance abuse policy. He was reinstated basically 4 weeks later. And after that, he just kind of fell out of the league in a pretty rapid period of time. He has since reappeared with the Michigan Panthers of the USFL, so anyone who watches the USFL may or may not get to see him. We'll see where that goes. But that's basically one dud down already. Next, we have the only real player that made an impact, but because the position he plays doesn't have very much in way for me to watch in terms of highlights, but Derek Nadi, I think his name is, he's solidified himself as a pretty solid starting option at defensive tackle, which can be a reasonably tough spot on the defense to play, but hey, like I say, it's he's generally had more than 35 tackles nearly every season except for this past year, and that's overall, I'd say, pretty good for a defensive tackle. I've seen better, but I've seen worse. So he's, I would say, been a solid piece of the Chiefs team that has been to 3 Super Bowls and winning 2 in the last 4 seasons. But I wouldn't exactly say that I've heard that anyone would consider him a absolutely phenomenally critical part of why the Chiefs are winning as much as they are. Then we come to Dorian O'Daniel, and this is one of those picks that I don't really know what happened here, because on paper, this guy looked like he had pretty much a blow-through shot to be a starting linebacker with the Chiefs, and then just never happened. His best year was easily his rookie season, and he has been out of the league for the past year. So, like I said, there isn't very much to say about this class because it's just pretty much a collection of the same thing. They had such potential to be something more and then just didn't. Next, we have safety Armani Watts. He's presently with the Colts, but another situation similar to O'Daniel, where I believe he's been getting, I wouldn't say better by the year, but the more he's allowed to play, it seems the better he gets. But it's this is more just your standard backup. If you don't have to put him in the game, you're not going to. And if you put him in the game, really the most you hope for is that he doesn't make any major mistakes. And it doesn't really look like he does, but there's really nothing here, which kind of surprises me because Armani Watts is one of the safeties coming out of college that I actually kind of liked. He had that mixture of speed, hands, hard hitting, everything I like seeing in a safety, and that just didn't translate it to the NFL, which kind of sucks. So next up, we have the one player that I've seen fit to actually bring the highlight up for, and this is cornerback Tremon Smith. And, well, he hasn't really been all that useful actually playing defense, as we see here, in that, yeah, he pretty much does next to nothing defensively. He's started a handful of games. Did get 2 interceptions last year. I will give him that much. But the real reason that he is hung around in the league is those kick return numbers. He's one of the better ones that I would say isn't really a particular threat to score a touchdown, but will now come over here for the one career kick return score that he has picked up.
So after Jacksonville was able to punch it through for a field goal, the kickoff after goes right to the goal line. Let's call it the 1 yard line. Return man's going to bring it out up over the 20 and should have been tackled right there.
Yeah, when that many guys hit you, like, good Lord, Jaguars. I know this was a season ago, but
so the Jags
that's why the Jaguars picked up 2 number 1 picks in a row. They sucked. And that brings us to the last guy, Khalil McKenzie. And he didn't really do anything. His career is honestly really sad to me, you know. It's the best he's really... He pretty much never gets on the field. Most of the time, I would say the best he does is like third string for most of the team he's been on. Practice squads and a littering of those. The second version of the XFL, he was actually on the practice squad for the DC Defenders. And this year, now that he's back in the XFL with the Vegas Vipers, I actually took the time to check the defensive statistics of the XFL, and I can't find him, which implies that this guy's not playing even in the XFL the second time around. And that just really says it all. You know, this one of those late round picks, you take the flyer, hope it turns out better than you're expecting, but I would say that this guy went substantially lower than what anyone could have effectively expected. So this is going to be one of my shorter videos. The 2018 Chiefs class wasn't really anything to talk about. So I originally gave this class a very optimistic A-. That's because I thought a lot more of these guys were going to end up starting and staying starting than any of them actually did. So I would bring this down to about a D. The only thing saving it is really Derek Nottie and, to a lesser extent, Tremon Smith, but the rest of it was just bad. So I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the 2018 Los Angeles Chargers draft. And so subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring the notification bell, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you tomorrow.